Okay, so the next video that we're going to do is about scheduling, and we're also going to do some web browser launching and launching of programs on your computer, um, or opening files. So first, I want to just show a basic scheduling function, and this can be used to time or schedule different tasks. So this script has a function called countdown, and when you call this function, you give it a integer, and that is the amount of seconds that it will wait until it does whatever you want to happen. Um, so the countdown function is called, and 3 is given. So for 3 seconds, we are going to use the sleep function, which delays execution of the next line of code, for however many seconds. In this case, we're just incrementing by one, or I guess in this case, decrementing, um, because we're counting down. We're given 3, and then as we go through the while loop, we're deducting 1 second from that total number of seconds. And when we get to 0, we exit the function, and then the next line here gets executed. Um, so the sleep function is essentially you can just use the sleep function, but it's fun to see basically what the sleep function is doing, by writing the countdown function. So this script is just going to print that when the next line is going to be executed, and then it'll print time is up. So let's see that in action, and then we'll do more cool stuff. But you'll see here, oh, interesting. Time's up in 1. Why did it print weird like that? Let's try that one more again. 3, 2, 1. Time's up in 1. Huh. I wonder why that's left. Anyways, that's fine. It wasn't doing that when I was testing it earlier. That's weird. But all that's happening is a print statement is getting executed. But we probably want to do cooler stuff like um open a program on our computer, or run a script, or open a web browser. Um, so the first thing that I want to actually do is open a web browser, because that is actually pretty simple to do. Python's great because it has all these built-in functions that we can just call, modules with functions that we can call, and it, it's very little effort. As long as you know the functions and how to call them, there's very little actual effort to put in on your side. So let's say we want to launch a website. Um, I'm gonna launch Google just for funsies, but this will work. Um, however, like with whatever URL you give as an argument. So all you have to do is reference the web browser module, and use call the open function. And there's different open things, how there's different ways you can open. You can open in a new tab, or open new window of the default browser. I think let's look at open specifically. Open is going to display the URL in the default browser, and then, if possible, open the URL in a location determined by the new, um, if it's a new browser window or tab. Um, but since I don't really have anything else open, I think it'll open in my default Emish account browser. But actually, let me close this so that we can see what happens. Okay, so I want to open HTTP, whoops, www.google.com. All right, so I'm going to count down. I'm going to get rid of the time or the print time's up. And after the countdown is done, I want to launch a website. So let's run this. I'm going to scooch this up so you can see down here. Launching in 3, 2, 1. And it opens a Google page. Sick. So it's really as simple as that. Opening a web page is not super complicated with Python. It's got that handy dandy web browser module with the open function, and you can give it whatever URL you want. I'd also wanted to say that you can change when you call countdown, you can put whatever number you want in there to wait however many seconds you'd like. So for the next task that I want to do, I want to I have a Windows system, so I'm going to open Notepad. So I'm going to print, let's open Notepad in 5 seconds. And then I'm going to say countdown 5. And then to actually open Notepad, I have to use the operating system module. And because the Notepad program is within my system files, I'm saying I want to go through the system path. And my, nope, I don't need a period there. I just need the parentheses. Then here I put the name of the executable file, which is notepad.exe. So I guess I'll keep the Google uh, open launch browser thing. So let's run this. It's going to say launching in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's going to open Google. And then if I go back, it's now counting down, opening Notepad, and it opened Notepad. Yay! I don't want to save that. That was a joke. Close. Okay. Um, so the next thing that you might want to be able to do, like as far as launching uh programs or files, is opening a specific script or document or Excel file, whatever, depending on what you're doing with your life. But for example, I want to open up this Java file in this folder that's in my C drive. So I went to that this space in my um, directory, and I'm going to copy path and I'm before I do that, I'm going to start the actual line of code that runs the file. But I'm going to say start file. Um, and then I'll paste my path, but you need to add a backslash here. Because it needs to be recognized as a backslash and not just an escape character. So that is why there needs to be 2 of that guy. So now if I run this, I'm gonna say, let's open hello world.java, and let's do it in 3 seconds. And I'm going to get rid of the browser launch just so that we can still keep an eye on um, VS Code. Okay. Okay. So let's run this. Oh, launching Notepad in 3, 2, 1. Cool. Let's open Hello World in 3, 2, 1. And it opened it here in VS Code because that's VS Code is my default editor for code. So if I want to open a script of any kind, whether it's Java, Python, um, JavaScript, whatever, it will default to opening it within VS Code. So there it is. Super cool. Um, Now I want to show you this tool that kind of combines um, the date time stuff that we talked about in the last video and the scheduling that we and launching of a web browser in this. So this is a reminder tool script that allows us to set an alarm time. It asks the user for a time and then it waits for that alarm time. Um, and if the alarm time is reached, then we're going to print time to launch, and then it's going to open the uh my Google Calendar apparently, and then it's going to sleep for a second. Um, so to do this, I need to give it a time. It's currently 2:56 p.m. So when I run this, I want to give it 0. Oh, it's actually going to be, is that going to be 14? Um, and let's say 57. And let's say 30, because I think by the time I actually press the play button, it'll be 2:57. So I'm going to run this and I'm going to give uh 14, 57, and 30. Maybe we'll say 15. All right, so now we only have to wait like 15 seconds, hopefully. Let's see if this actually works. Hey, that's sick as hell. All right. So that is something I'm gonna post this reminder tool script for you guys to play around with before we meet on Wednesday. And you can change what is opened, you can change how specific you want. Um, like, do you want it to account for milliseconds or microseconds, or do you just care like by the second? Um, you can have it do other things or a whole bunch of things instead of just launching a Google Calendar or opening a web browser. So yeah, I think that's a pretty cool, nifty little tool. Um, and yeah, I think that's it for discussing um scheduling and launching. And then I will talk more about web scraping in our in-class activity on Wednesday. If you'd like to get a head start and read that chapter, which I believe is, let's see, I believe it's chapter, I don't want to say the wrong thing. The web scraping chapter is chapter 12. So if you want to read that a little bit before we meet on Wednesday, you'll be ahead of the game. But um, on Wednesday is when we will actually get into web scraping and talk a little bit more about scheduling. And I also want to mention, um, make sure that you are working on project two. Um, the proposal per se is due by Wednesday evening, so make sure that you have it done by ideally before class, but if you have any questions, ask me in class. Because with this project and like the last couple labs, I can't really do. I'm going to be a little bit less lenient on late submissions just because we don't have that much time left in the semester. Um, so just be aware of that. Make sure that you're staying on top of things and let me know as soon as possible if you're having trouble. So, yeah, I think that is it. And I will see you guys on Wednesday.